G'day, Doggies fans, All Things Bulldogs. It's episode 34. We're into the second week of the final series. And as promised, we have Gas from Don't Break Defence. He holds the big banner. It was on, you see it at the games, you see it in the kennel, you see it on the TV. I saw it on the TV tonight. How you going, Gas?
How you going, Michael? Thank you, mate. Welcome, everyone. We're in the thick of things now. It's heating up.
What's your thoughts? Can we win this?
We can win. The boys have got the belief. They played well the other day. We're not far away. Everyone's expecting Penrith to win, so that suits us down to the ground. Bring it on.
Bring it on, brother. All right, so light up the city. Welcome. I think that's someone who holds up the other side of the banner.
Yes, that's the other half of the Don't Break Defence banner. Yes. Welcome.
We've got that wall in our background tonight.
Yes.
So we'll just go through a couple of the chats before we start, get a few people on, say our pleasantries. G'day, Nops. Thanks for the awesome season of podcasts and contact me. My pleasure, Nops. Thank you so much for being a part of it. G'day, Gratitude. Welcome again. And Abraham. I was wondering why Critta was training with the boys, and now this makes sense. He either plays this week or plays next. Abraham, actually, I put up one of the Bulldogs posts of Montoya and Tilly Tupanua bashing into each other, and I didn't see Critta. It was just a flash of him, and Abraham's like, "Oh, is Critta training with him?" And I said, "No, that's the Tilly Tupanua, mate." He's like, "No, at 4 seconds, you can see Critta there," and he is. He was holding the tackling bag. He's got a moon boot on his right foot. Or his left, I can't remember which foot it is, but he's got the moon boot on, and yeah, Tilly was smashing into him. So it makes sense he either plays this week or plays next week. Well, I reckon he'll be definitely playing the prelim if he doesn't play this week, and we'll know Saturday if he's playing or not, because they're not going to name him 18th or 19th man. If he's fit enough to be 18th or 19th man, he'll be fit enough to be in the team. They're not going to carry a 18th or 19th man who can't play, if that makes sense.
Yep.
G'day, Timmy, and welcome.
Hey, Timmy.
So maybe we should just say Galvin 10 times to invoke the algorithm spirit. Galvin, 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 Galvin. Like, honestly, how crazy are people? G'day, Mister. It's me. That's not Brent Sherwin. Brent Sherwin's on the other podcast. Is that tonight? Is it? Oh well, I'll forgive people for not being here if Brent Sherwin's on tonight. Check that out for me, Gas. Or could someone check that out? What I'll do is I'll stream the Kennel's podcast through this podcast with Brent Sherwin. Oh, it's all publicity. Rip in. G'day, David. Doggies for life. All the Broncos fans wish the Dogs will win because they think we will be an easy beat. Yep, and I can't wait. Broncos fans will be in for a surprise if we meet them in the prelim. And Zayad Emilich says hello. Welcome, Zayad. All right, so we've got a few people on. So what I'm going to do is get the team lists up. Let's get a look straight into it. I've got the name team scrolling along the bottom there. Probably sounds like I'm yelling a bit.
Excited, mate. We're excited. It's finals time, mate.
Yeah. And welcome, Dreg. I'd like to get it to 20 people before we start cracking in.
Yeah, the other podcast won't start till 7:30 anyway.
All right. Cool. I thought they had Brent Sherwin on at 12 o'clock or something. But anyway, I'll be watching it. Let's get
Trip was good, Timmy. Trip was good, Timmy, mate. It was a good drive up. The drive back wasn't pleasant, but it was all right. we for a loss, it wasn't a disappointing loss, if you want to put it that way. So we had a lot to reflect on the way back, a lot to discuss, but it gave us good positivity and hope moving into this week. So, yeah, we got to analyse the game a bit, but it was all right. And we have some unfinished business with the Broncos, so let's hope we do get through, because we've got some big unfinished business with those guys. So I'm sure that everyone's looking forward to that game if we can get past these penny Panthers.
Sorry, just looking for the best. All right, so before we get into it, Brian won't be on our shows anymore unless he gets a new YouTube profile and sneaks his way on. He's been hidden from the channel. You know, we tried our best. It's just not happening. All right. So let's get into it, Gas.
Let's go.
Is that scrolling? Is the team list scrolling?
Yep.
All right, cool. So here's the team list in case you missed it. We've got Tracy and Dylan Edwards in the fullbacks, Carraz and Alamotti, Tungo and Cherry. Cherry's the left centre. Casey McLean, I think, is also the left centre. Would make sense. So it'd be Bronson versus Togo. Actually, Bronson will play on the right centre, even though he's number 3. That's his number. So I think that's about, not wasting jerseys and stuff. Matt Burton at number 4. He'll play left centre. They've got Jethro named at number 5. I think Montoya will definitely come in for Jethro. Obviously, Brian To'o, Blaze Talangi, Lockie Galvin, and Toby Sexton. Pretty much both playing a similar role. The captain, Nathan Cleary. King and Curran to start with Haywood, Leota, Summerton. I think Summerton's going to drop out for Mitch Kenny, who's on the extended bench. Lindsay Smith, Scott Sorensen, Liam Martin, and Isaiah Yeo. We have Curran, Kickow, Preston, and Salmon. The bench of Kurt Mann, Satili Tupanua, Harry Hayes, and Reed Mahoney back on the bench in 17. Brad Schneider, Liam Henry, Isaiah Papali'i, who's been playing well off the bench, and Luke Garner, the centre back rower, very, very versatile player. Extended bench, Blake Wilson at 19, Jake Turpin, Sam Hughes, Marcello Montoya, and Stephen Crichton. Surprisingly named at 23. Thomas Jenkins, Matt Eisenhuth, Dane Laurie, Maverick Geyer, and Mitch Kenny, who, as I said, I think will start. What's your thoughts on the team list, Gas?
Well, I think from a Penrith perspective, I think that's probably the strongest team they can field, and probably the strongest team they've put all year out there. So that'll give them a lot of confidence, but also it plays into our hands. We've got no excuses. We've got a full team to play against, so we'll prepare the best we can. But I like the lineup that we've got. Crichton obviously played probably about 8 to 10 minutes after he hurt himself. So he kept running. So him potentially being an option is not the end of the world. He's probably, had a look at it. They might be able to strap it up, stick an injection in there. And because we're playing on Sunday, that 9-day turnaround has given him a chance to maybe play. Now, whether he's ready on Saturday or not, on the captain's run, they'll make the call 24 hours out. But that's as good a team as we could put, considering what we've had to deal with. And I think it's a team, honestly, that is due for a finals win, 3rd time round after 2 years. So the support that we've got in the crowd will be the extra leg that we've got. 60, 70, 80,000 will give us that extra kick. So make sure you're out there. And if you're not, make sure you get everyone else out there around you too, please.
So is everybody online so far tonight? Are you all going to the game? Let us know in the chats if you're going with a thumbs up.
Tim's bringing a mate of his that's a Panther supporter, so maybe you can get him lost on the way, leave him in the car or something. But yeah, that's all right.
And look, guys, I'm not money hungry, as you know, but anytime we get to $25 in super chats, I will send someone who was here a copy of the Rugby League Coach book. And if you haven't watched his analysis, I thought it was pretty good. Probably the best one of the lot was after this Storm game. Much better. There was probably only one hiccup in it where the analysis of the first try was slightly out of context, but everything else pretty well. Great analysis from my point of view. What's happening in the chat, Gas?
Yeah, everything's going good so far. Just a few guys asking if Sexton's playing, but they've seen him on the list, on the team there. For everyone that doesn't know, obviously we've got Ashley Klein this week as well, so that's going to be the referee for this week. And the referee that refed our game last week, which I felt was a very ordinary performance, has been dropped for this week. I know they can only take 2, but he's been dropped for this week. So it goes to show that he wasn't as good as he thought he was for that game. Couple of calls, I believe, went against him. The penalty goal to Penrith, the 2 points, should not have been at 2 points. That sort of was a bit of a miss there, and too many lined around the ruck and offsides that he didn't give as well. So they probably overreacted. If you noticed the way Klein refereed, they probably overreacted to that by the end of the weekend. They were picking up everything. So I think it was probably from Friday night that they probably saw that. So, yeah.
You're 4 hours away from Sydney, or 4 hours?
4 hours away.
Oh, that's close, mate. Get in the car, bro. I'll see you there. All right. Timmy says he might need a bodyguard if we win. He'll be heading back to the Penrith after the game. Oh, so mate, I think they've had a good share of success, the Panthers. I like Nops's comment. Critter at number 23 is such hype. Timmy says he hasn't seen Mr. Exclusive Mark O'Connell yet. Yeah, probably won't see Mark too often. You know, when people lose their shit after a loss, I tend to fall out with them. Unless anyway. Drag, evening, fellas. Recovered from the broken heart and ready for a big win. All right, let's get into it. What's the next part on the agenda? How are we gonna play this week, guys? What's the team gonna be? What team's gonna start in your heart there, Gas? What do you think's gonna start? I'll tell you mine in a moment. And in the chats, guys, tell me the positions that you think will change come Sunday.
It's going to be interesting to see if Critta does actually play. What happens to Birdo? Does he obviously go back to do they go back to a Galvin Birdo halves? Do they then use Sexton as a potential hooker like they were supposed to do last week, which obviously changed when Critta went off? Or do they? It's going to be an interesting one. So what happens to Critta if we leave him out of the picture for now and say that he's just a 20% chance, let's say, just there as a backup, then Birdo would probably be in the centres, and you would have Galvin and Sexton in the halves. Now, what numbers they have on their back, to be honest, I think is irrelevant. They're going to play their game. Galvin plays both sides. It's not going to matter too much what they do. So it's going to be it's going to be that way, and then it's just going to be a matter of what they end up doing on the bench, whether they drop in someone like a Mahoney or a Turpin, or stick maybe even a Sam Hughes, or what they do. But at the moment, all options are on the card. I don't think he's going to be making any decisions till later in the week. Even for Ciraldo, I think he'll still be weighing up exactly what he wants to do. I don't think it'll be fully locked in yet. There's still too many moving pieces, I think, at the moment. What's your thoughts, mate?
My thoughts are is that Stephen Crichton won't be playing. That's just my thoughts. I could be wrong. I'm just going to go with it. He's not playing. If he's named at 18 or 19 or 19 or 20, as it is for the Dogs on Saturday, that'll change the tune for me. Then I will entertain him playing. But for me, Matt Burt, they'll run out, except Montoya will come onto that left wing and be outside Matt Burton. And Bronson will be paired up with his best mate, Jacob Carraz. Connor Tracy's the key to this game for me. I believe last week was getting back to his absolute sort of minimum performance of what we've come to expect from Connor. So what we need from Connor is to go to that next level this week, and I think he will do that. I think he's back to his fitness. I think he'll be there. In regards to how we're going to play this game, well, it's quite funny because I actually think that when Satili Tupanua and Kurt Mann come on, that Galvin looks to me looks a lot more dangerous in that part of the game. More so with Satili. Sometimes I find the way Kurt Mann plays can be a bit counterproductive for Galvin because they're both players that are sort of shoring up what, like Kurt Mann's actually shoring up what to do all the time. He's like, do I run through and get the quick play the ball for the team, or do I bring it back and do we start something on an edge? So he brings that point of playing heads up in a way, and he's very elusive. So he can take us from our structure to out of structure and into attack a lot of times as well. So I've been watching that really carefully, and I think Galvin has potential to do that as well. And we might see that sort of play from Galvin if he's more off the front foot. And I've been listening to some commentators who made a lot of sense with that as well. Like, that's not just my own thoughts. I've been listening to some people. And Galvin, I think, off momentum, momentum is something that we struggle to get. Now, when we see early ball to like Matt Burton or Kickow on the edge, after we defended those sets against Melbourne and they went down the left when we were up 18-14, we had momentum there. And then we got King. And then Connor Tracy basically did the normal sort of structured run on the fourth or the fifth, on the fourth. And then the ball went out to Toby and he put it out on the full. And it killed us. But if we're sort of playing catch up, if we're behind at that point, I think we're running the football there. I think Connor's looking to link up with somebody. And I think that's something we need to sort of do a little bit more, even when we're in front against Penrith, because whilst we don't want to hand ball over in bad position, I think if they look to sort of go wide on that fourth or fifth play, they can always hand it to one of the centres to put a kick down the side like Josh Morris used to do all the time.
Yep.
Back in the day. We'd hunt wide, and if we couldn't, we usually make meters, but if we couldn't sort of break their line or get that penetration or the game was up sort of thing, they'd put a really controlled sort of kick from the centre down towards the opposition's end, and they'd already be in a line together, see? And usually, get their defence on after that. So they've thrown something at the opposition, but also, being able to react and keep the ball in play and get their defence on if it didn't work out. I do expect... I don't know if they'll start Kurt Mann. I think there could definitely be... Look, I reckon Penrith would be expecting the Dogs to do something different. Whether they bring in, Sam Hughes. I was probably expecting DSF to be on this extended bench as well. But obviously with Critta playing, that's not the case. So there's a chance you could see Hughes come in for a Reed. But in saying that, like, they probably want that extra hooker there. Bailey played pretty busted last week. He got it smashed in the face. Big cut over his eye after 15 minutes. Attempted 65 tackles. His line speed was good. Chopping them down. Melbourne ran hard. They were able to bust through something like 60 tackles, double what we did on the weekend. So the fact that we still contained them pretty well and we really had a lot go against us to cost us the game in the end. I think we did a fantastic job. In saying that, so you might see a more aggressive pack to start the game. And if that's the case, they might bring in Mann, they might bring in Tupanua to start, or even Harry Hayes. I think they're going to have to sort of fight fire with fire. This guy here, Moses Leota, is the bloke that I haven't seen him lose a fight yet. But there's always a first time, and we've got players, if we can run them off their feet a bit, get some real speed happening, and get that aggression going, we can have players like Moses Leota laying in the ruck. You know what I mean?
I think if they're going to make a change, like you're saying, to fight fire, I would be putting Hayes instead of Curran if you're going to do something a bit different. If you're going to put someone in there like that, if you're going to do anything different like that, potentially, I wouldn't use Satilli and Mann too early. I think their impact that they do, you saw the way they changed the game. It wasn't just the way they did it in attack. It was how they did it in defence. They were double teaming. There was quite a few tackles they came in there and they were brutal. They were hitting hard. They were really putting the opposition on notice there in that sort of late in that first half when the momentum sort of shifted our way. It was only for an exceptional 40-20 that they got, and then a really good blindside play that got them back in front. But, we deserved to be in front at halftime. So that was the momentum shift they did before and after halftime. And if you remember, just after halftime, there was a knock-on call that didn't go our way in the first set.
Yes.
That they lost the ball. And that would have been another momentum shift our way. Again, that didn't get picked up. Correct. So there was just a lot of little things like that we didn't have go our way, but the effort was outstanding. What I'd love to see from Lockie Galvin, I think Lockie's been probably still too controlled. Now, whether that's Ciraldo telling him to play structured, I'd love to see Lockie just free up himself and just have a go a bit. So, kind of like he did with the Tigers, just have a go, run the ball, just put him on notice a bit. Then if he, especially if he's got Sexton beside him, he can have that option. But I think sometimes if you noticed, he's a bit in two minds, whether to play that structured ball, distributor, or whether to run the ball, sort of like what he did with Curran there. We had that full set there, second tackle, and he threw it back on the inside of Curran. Would have been great to just dummy back on the inside, take on the line, show the outside, just have a go, just have a bit more of a own the moment. You know what I mean? I think it's his time. It's his time to fight fire with fire. I think he can be the one that really delivers on this stage. If he just believes, once he does it once and he gets something successful, he'll believe and he'll start doing it more and more. The ability's there. Otherwise, no one would have had him in the team, the coaching staff, the players. He wouldn't be there. So definitely he's got it. He does it at training. He just needs to be able to, execute, let's say, call it a Cleary moment, come off, let it come off, and then and if he does it in this game and we knock them off, I can see him taking us all the way to win the grand final. That's my call. I can see that happening because I honestly believe Canberra and Brisbane have played their grand final the other day. Canberra may win another game if they beat Shark, but I can't see those two teams getting any further. So this is the game for me, Bulldogs and Penrith.
Yeah, we'll look at the Sharks and Raiders a bit later. We'll actually get people's thoughts on that as well as our own. But look, I think if you've got the fact we've got Tupanua, Hayes, and Curran there, I think you're right. Harry Hayes can come on or Satilli. You can't bring Satilli and Mann on together and you're 100% right. What they changed the game. Those two changed the game with their defence. So people look at tackles that are made, right? And this is a perfect example of when you're talking about stats, right, and fantasy points and all this sort of bullshit. Satili Tupanua, I think he makes like 25 tackles in that match. 20 of them, put pain into the opposition defender. And Kurt Mann was the same. Like, they absolutely smash the Storm forwards when they come on. But because we've been so affected so early in the games with losing Cherry after 5 minutes the week before, Montoya, I know it was later in the game, losing Crichton, Kickow, then Tuala later in the game. These things
Hayward copping a knock.
They really affect your rotations. The fact Curran's prepared all week to start in the middle, and on the first set of defence, he's having to go out to the left-hand edge, which takes a little bit of getting used to. And that was enough for Melbourne to roll through us for 8 tackles and then score after the resumption in play. We got our game on. Everyone was aware after that of what they had to do. Not that they weren't aware. They were just rattled a little bit, which is normal. That happens. But the fact they were able to recoup and should have won the game. I go back to the Penrith game, the first game. We're about to smash that game out of the park. Coach, I felt, pulled the trigger too early. And then it took us 19 minutes to get control of the game again in order to have a crack in the last 7 or 8 minutes. So only been 2 points behind, mind you, from a charge down. So this team has been able to wrestle back momentum so many times in this whole season. Like, even against the Dolphins, they were beating us and they got out to 20-8 and things were going right for them in everything they did. We get that try to go 20-14. That was us wrestling back momentum. We can't let Penrith get out to a big lead because they are really good front runners.
Yeah.
But in saying that, this team just doesn't have give up in them at all. They try to win. The games have been blown away because they've continued to try. They haven't played conservatively when their backs have been against the wall. I think that you can bring on Harry Hayes or Satili to start to match because we're going to need some aggression.
Yeah.
I think as long as you've got either Harry or Satili on the bench with a Curran and a Kurt Mann, you've got a lot happening in your favour. Now, as much with all the Reed Mahoney debate and the Bailey Hayward debate, and, I think it makes sense to start a Reed Mahoney or a Jake Turpin this week if they play, simply to go out there and go nuts. Especially if Mitch Kenny's playing, because that's exactly what he is. He is a prop playing hooker who can pass the ball onto the advantage line at speed. He doesn't run. He barely runs. We might see him run in this game, but I'm not sure of that.
Yep.
But, I think both teams are going to produce something a little bit different this week. I think it'll be the match of the season again. It'll be like any of the great boxing fights we've seen. Now, people fall into this trap because we saw Parramatta beat the Panthers in a regular season. They had 2 close games. It was 1-1. Then they got to the grand final and Parramatta lost by 40 points. But this team doesn't have James Fisher-Harris, Viliami, Kickow, Stephen Crichton in it. It's not the same team. It's not as good. But it will be prepared just as well, and it will believe in itself just as much. And for us to win, we have to go out there and fight fire with fire. And we have to show them that, yeah, we can go with you and we can play ball in play. And we can also, we're not afraid to score points either in doing it. So I'm expecting a huge performance from this Bulldog side this week.
Let's go through a few chats, mate. Catch up with some of the comments here.
Yep.
So Miskeen saying we need to start Reed and Sexbomb and Kurt Mann for a real offensive early, similar to what we were saying. Also saying Burden playing at centre. If Critta's out, Galvin can slot at 6 and float. Yep. And Matt Satilli after 20 minutes, run the ruck in the centre, with King Curran. Tim, obviously saying we need a fast start, scoreboard pressure early, try to get a 12, 14-point lead to defend. And he feels like we should have been ahead at halftime. I think you're right, mate. We should have been ahead at halftime last week. We did the work. Again, Lockie at 6 and let him float, and Sexton guiding the show. We need less out of the back plays and trying to float a pass to one of our back rowers like Hayes like we did against the Storm. Sexton controlling and Galvin Burton, similar themes there again. And I think, not sure how, just adding this in while we're going, we were kicking early a lot last week. I'm not sure that was always to our advantage. I think it was discussed by yourself and the coach today as well about that early kick, and it wasn't always. And I think I don't think both of you picked up on. And I mentioned to you earlier, there was a slight breeze in our face in the first half, and the ball was holding up a bit, even though Burton's got a big boot. That was a slight disadvantage to us. Sometimes that extra run might have helped us get it closer to their try line so we can start our sets, for them 10, 15 out from their line, and then start. A couple of times they got a bit more yardage, and then we had to start from there, which was working against that kick on 4 for us. That's all.
Just to go with that, Gas. I've actually thought that numerous times over the last 2 years, where even in 2023, where I could literally see that they were, they literally planned that Olawapu was going to kick, or they planned that Galvin was definitely kicking this time, going to take the first kick. Sexton was definitely going to do more kicks. So what I see is development. Always, I just see it as development. It's like they're going out with a set idea and process in mind, and because their whole 3 things they've come up with is, and the third point being stick to the process. If the process and the game plan is to do that, they're going to do it no matter what. So I sort of look at it and go, that's the thing. I've always talked about Reed Mahoney kicking from dummy half. Sometimes have just been the absolute best thing we needed, and they've been set up perfectly, whether he's got it or not. What I noticed this year from last year even is that he started to kick more just to turn teams around rather than to actually go for the big play. But unfortunately, yet again, there'd be times after we've just wrestled back momentum and we probably want to have one more hit up and do a bomb and get our game on again. And he's done the all or nothing kick, and he hasn't got it right. So there's this balance between these guys sort of trying to follow the process and play their natural game. And I think it is probably one of our weaknesses in how we go about that. And one of the points I would say is the Kurtman kick for Kickow and Burton was because his captain put his hands up, he's put the kick in. Whereas back in the day, I'm pretty sure Josh Reynolds would have just done what Josh Reynolds wanted to do at that point. Or, players with that type of ability.
Yep.
So I think we need to not be as critical when they try things and they don't come off. It's more so that they are trying something that sometimes the play is right, sometimes it's wrong. Sometimes they put the kick in and it looks like the wrong kick, and then inexplicably it goes our way. Like I've seen that happen as well. There's a lot of luck in it too. So I think as fans, we can be a little bit less critical of moments like that, because whilst on reflection, if we go through the hands, we might score. There's still a big chance that we may not have scored as well. So, and then you've got obviously Kickow when he went to do the over-the-top pass. He went to do it to Burton, and he had Galvin in between there, which would have been who was unmarked between him and Burton. So if he does that, gives it to Galvin, play sort of stays alive. Don't know whether we get another opportunity, but again,
there's a chance.
Your players left out the young guy there rather than going through the hip. So, And just on Timmy's thing, I don't think Jeff Rowe will be playing Timmy. I think Montoya will be playing based on the video they did. But that also could just be a big ploy to unsettle the Panthers. What's Miskeen's close down? Yo, Cleary at all times, 3-man minimum rush out of defence to apply pressure, giving them enough time to slide the ball side to side. Yeah, well, what we do in our defence is we tend to interchange our line speed runners to take time away from the opposition. And the Bulldogs are the best team at reducing metres from where the opposition plays the ball to where they kick the ball or take their last play. So from tackle 1, or basically tackle 2, until the end of tackle 4, the Dogs concede less metres than any other team in the comp. So I think they do a lot of work in that area regardless. The danger for us is overcommitting, I think. And that's where Panthers will look to exploit people like Kickow in overcommitting, because they'll know he's coming and they know how he does things. He's sort of an all or nothing type. That's the stuff we've got to be careful of as well. Now, D's come in with D's stats, which are just completely nuts. Probably brought to you by D's Nuts. So let's read out these stats for D, I think. I've just got to find them there. I think Brian tried to come on tonight, and I've already deleted the person. They were called Faceless Void, and I've banned them and removed them from the chat.
Yeah, he's on the other podcast telling everyone that he's been banned off his second account as well.
Oh, is he? He's on the Kennel podcast.
Yeah, he's going crazy on that one too.
About Ciraldo.
Yeah.
Our last finals game pre-Cameron Ciraldo was a 28-12 loss to Penrith in 2016. No, you're not talking to yourself. Ourselves here, chat. No, not at all, buddy. Dave, the Bulldogs have lost the last 5 finals games they have played in. Well, what a time to break that. What do you reckon, Gas?
Yep. No time better than now, mate.
Ashley Klein has been the ref twice in finals games Bulldogs have played. A 16-10 win over Manly in 2012 and a 22-6 loss to Newcastle in 2013. So we've got Ashley Klein, have we?
Yes.
Right. So we're 1-1 with Klein.
Yep.
Jacob Kiraz has scored tries in his last 2 finals games for the Dogs. A Bulldogs winger has scored in the last 4 finals played. Kiraz 2025, Kiraz 2024, Sam Parrott in 2016, and Curtis Rona in 2015. Up the waz, g'day Katuko, Wakapiko. Or is that Fana Pico? Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. But welcome to you, and bad luck to the Waz. I would have preferred to have been playing the Warriors, just not because I don't think they would have been easier, just because I think we definitely get 80,000 people to the game and it'd be a much better atmosphere. It's still going to be great. Don't you worry about that. The biggest finals crowd between the Bulldogs and the Panthers is 46,168, and the Bulldogs won 18-12 in what was the major prelim final in 2014.
Yeah, I was at that game.
That's after we beat Melbourne and then we beat Manly.
Yep.
And that was Jamie Soward's teams. So that was the sort of side that Gus built out of a lot of hard work and players. They sort of got their defence right. They got a few stars into their team. And then from there on, it was about getting those youngsters ready, which took them about another 4 or 5 years. So, Mr. It's Me. Teams are ready for Kiraz and his offload. I reckon he needs to tip an early tip on early and then take the next hit up, change it up. I won't be coming down, Joe. Sorry. I've got too much work to do.
But he'll be there for the week. You'll be there for the week after, mate.
Well, yeah, I'll be there at the Broncos Bulldogs game at Suncorp.
That's it.
All right. So what score are we predicting? What score are we predicting, people? What's your prediction there, Gas?
It's a day game, so we haven't played a lot of day games, but when we have, we've actually had good results. Manly game was a day game. We had a good result there, so they generally do get a little bit more points, as we saw with the Raiders and the Broncos the other day. But two very good defensive teams. I know based on our 8-6 game, forget like you said the last game they played. Something sort of around that 20 mark. So, something like a 22-20 or 22-18. Something is, that kind of, 23-16 kind of game is where I feel the game could be at. Still be a few points, defensively good, but just attrition. If you notice, for us, I know you're not there, but it's very warm today in Sydney. And it's, that's going to have a bit more fatigue factor late in the game as well, probably late in both halves. So I think that'll leak a few points, just that alone. And if you probably noticed the other day, again, a lot of people cramping up late in the games. So there's going to be a few more points than an 8-6, I feel, in this game. So, so 23-16 is probably a good score for me.
We've got a few scores there on the chat. Miss Lucas says 26-18 to the Dogs. Mr. It's Me 30-12. Timmy says Dogs 28-14. Joe says if we can complete and kick well, we should be able to get on top of them. The key is to shut down Cleary, 100%. How many sin bins this week? I don't know.
Just don't run into the face of someone when they've not knocked on.
Yeah, well,
don't do a Hudson Young.
Oh, Klein. Calling that penalty against
Hudson.
What's his face at the start of the game, the hooker, Starling.
Yeah,
he got up. The fella had a hand on his ass. He plays the ball, then falls over, and they go penalty to Brisbane after he just done a great run from dummy half.
Yeah.
And then Brisbane score off the next set, and they get a 6 again before they score. He's just influenced the game so badly from the start. It's just like, let that shit go all day. Just let it go unless they do one where they fall over and complain that they fuck the play the ball. If they stuff the play the ball up, then penalise them.
Yeah, fair enough.
But if the ball goes to the player at dummy half and it's play on, and he's actually got to his feet, and the opposition's holding on to him, that was just ridiculous. And then it didn't get any better.
Yeah.
He just made ridiculous decisions. Honestly, I've always said Klein, I felt he had something going on with bookmakers with first half and second half, who wins the first or who wins the second, because I've never seen, and I've said this going back to 2013, 2014, I've never seen a ref with so many momentum swings in games as much as him. And he's not for any one team over the other. I always remember Canberra games too with Klein. Always. Bulldogs Canberra. Just momentum shifts. Bang, 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 bang. And then we saw it there with the Broncos. So Joe says Dogs 19, Penrith 12. Dogs 16, Penrith 12 for Nops. And we're keeping up pretty well with the chat since you're here, Gas.
No, all good. That's the idea.
Nops says he's hopeful about this game. He's really hopeful about the game. Feels like the Riff are looking at this as a stepping stone to the grand final. Well, we are do or die with our backs against the wall. Doggy's heart will win this. Look, I'm all invested on a Dogs win, peeps. All invested on a Dogs win. If they go out there, play their best game, and lose, so be it. It's been a very successful season. You know, all the stuff leading up to getting to the semi-finals, to me, doesn't matter. It's about getting to the finals and then doing the best you can with what you've got. And I think this Ciraldo's proven always that his plans have a real purpose around them. I feel the last couple of weeks leading to this game have been really affected by injuries early to outside backs, and has changed the actual game plan a little bit in what they wanted to do. So hopefully we can get a bit of luck in that area and start fast, start aggressive, and have the Panthers really questioning whether they've got it in them to go 5 in a row. Thoughts, Gas?
Well, look, the pressure's on them. Look, they've come from last position this year. To them, so far, this season is a success, considering where they've come from. So it's our job to finally put them to bed and stop another run, as we've done historically. I think I mentioned it to you about 4 or 5 weeks ago. I'd love to play Penrith in the finals. I said to you, because we stopped the Dragons from going 12 in a row in 1967. We didn't win the grand final. We lost, obviously, thanks to the Bob McCarthy intercept. But then we stopped Parramatta in 84 from going 4 in a row. And we've had another stoppage on Manly winning. So we've been the team that's always stopped those runs historically. I think it's our time. I think Penrith, honestly, they've done an amazing job to win 4 in a row. This task is just maybe that one bridge too high to climb coming from outside the 4. And I think it's our time to learn from the Manly game that we lost last year. And then from this game, like you said, we should have won the Manly game. We had a few issues late in the game. We should have won the other day, but we had a lot of adversity and the ref didn't give us nothing. And I think this is our time to get it right. Third time lucky for us under Ciraldo. It's a fresh team. And I think it's time for us to silence everyone. No one's expecting us to win, which is even better. Silence everyone. Bring this crowd to life. And I think we will stay the whole night celebrating if they can get us into that next week. They'll have to kick us out of the stadium.
We actually had another one as well. Our first premiership in 1938. We stopped the Roosters from going 3 in a row, I think.
There you go.
So that we stopped their run, and they had their 1935 team, and that was brilliant. So look, that's what I mean. A lot of people whinging and complaining, but at the end of the day, the Roosters aren't in the competition anymore. Neither are the Warriors, and we're still here. We're still fighting, and this team hasn't let anyone down at any point at any time. So there has been a lot of bitterness. People saying "I told you so" with the Toby Sexton thing. A very good point was made today that Newcastle thought that when they bought Jack Cogger, who was back up for the Panthers in 2023. Now, what's his face? Jerome Luai had to go off, and so even some Panthers fans said stupidly, "Why are we letting Cogger go? Like he was better than Luai." There's a big difference between coming on with sort of nothing to lose and everything to gain, than preparing to start a game of rugby league as a halfback week in, week out. So, look, Toby knows this, and Toby's been invested with Lachlan on the whole journey. Just like Hutchison was helping him before he took over Hutchison's spot. They're professionals. They're trying to get the best out of each other. They all want to win a premiership. They all want to be part of this success. They all want it on their resume. And fans are sitting there going, "Oh, we're better because Toby come on." Toby did a fantastic job, but he also put one out in the full, which we then conceded.
Turn the match.
Now, I know the team's not blaming Toby for that. He was a little bit sort of in the wrong spot to be kicking to that direction. There was that breeze factor as well. And he just didn't get it right on the night, but it proved costly. I felt when I watched the last 15 minutes of the game, I actually felt that Galvin and Sexton stayed pretty well involved and just played roles the whole way. And they tried to get the team into positions on the field where the likes of Kickow and Burton could do their stuff. They actually led us around pretty well, both of them. And for people to come out after the game, like Tony Adams, the mole, who I put too much faith in, for him to go out there and rate the players and say, oh, Toby was an 8.5 and Galvin was a 4 or a 5. It's just such lazy media. And honestly, guys, do not click on their fucking articles. Don't click on their articles if you can help it. You're just promoting more pain for people's families. I've got family members of not only juniors, but of some of the players as well who are so grateful that there's people like us in this community that, not just me, but actually the whole All Things Bulldogs community for speaking a lot of sense for the most part and actually backing the guys and backing their kids to fulfill their hopes and dreams and understanding that we don't know the whole bloody story and we never will. So, nor should we have to. Those things should be between the players and the coaches and the club. We shouldn't get to see everything. Why should the opposition see everything either, And why does the media have to see everything? This common people taking down Bailey Hayward because he missed 13 tackles. Well, he attempted 65.
Yeah.
and
how many led to a line break?
What was that?
How many led to a line break? So it's not like they were just running through the other side when they call it a missed tackle.
Exactly.
It's a different argument. If the line breaks when you're coming out the other side and you're missing those tackles, fair enough, but that wasn't the case. He's putting his body on the line and he was busted, like you said. He was hit pretty hard in that first 15 minutes. But because Sexton had to come on early, he had to play the 80 minutes.
Exactly.
So, it is what it is. So,
it's the first time
and really,
yeah. You go.
Yeah, up until that pass by Kickow, which led to the intercept, it was only 2 points in it, and that was only a shit penalty that they got for a non-high tackle that shouldn't have been 2 points. That put scoreboard pressure on us the whole way. So really, that game was on the line both ways, and it was kind of like that Penrith game where we were down 8-6 and chasing. That 2 points was psychological for us more than we needed it to be. But they kept coming back. We kept hitting the front after it. When we were down 8-6, we got in front. We were down 14-12, we got back in front as well. So, but like you said, we've done that so many times this year. We've had to win the game 2 or 3 times. This was just in Melbourne. It was one more tough job to do. And we'd never seen any penalties. Like we said, as much as we controlled the game, we got 1 yardage penalty and we scored off the set when Burton scored. The only other yardage penalty we got was in the last 15 seconds of the game, which was just to put the stats up, and the game was already over by then. So
made it 3-all.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help. Yeah, exactly. So and we deserved a lot more than that. But overall, I think there is a lot there to play with, and we are hungry. The guys are hungry, and in front of their crowd this week, I think we are all going to be in for a surprise. I really feel it. I think it's time. So,
what I want from the crowd, I don't want 80,000 people being quiet if we're down 6 points or down 10 points. Not saying we're going to be, but take it on yourselves to start fucking screaming and just keep the noise going all game, the whole game. Because I've seen it go quiet. I've been at Belmore and watched it going from, off the Richter scale in decibels to being absolutely pin drop when the game's been against us. So, I'll be screaming through the television. I know that much. And probably have the cops usually turn up once or twice a year at my place saying who's dead.
Send the wife out. That's your best bet. So when they knock on the door, say she's not home.
Where is she? Who'd you kill? Yeah.
Well, I only just got my voice back probably yesterday from being down there at Melbourne. It was you don't realise when you're amongst the crowd how loud you're screaming. I think most of it for me was at the ref too. So.
Oh, I used to love it back in the day. I used to say stuff like, I remember this little old lady from Cronulla sitting there, and me and my brother were there, and I was only young, and he's yelled out, and like she had no teeth, and she had a little pet shark toy, and I was at Belmore. We smashed them 36-6. Anyway, she's going, oh, back off, and like saying all this shit, and my brother's like, hey, ref, can you tell your mum to shut the fuck up? She literally stood up and started bashing him. Like, they were the days. She was the only one the only Cronulla supporter within Cooey.
AJD.
So before
Ashley Klein, mate.
He said, all I want to see from the team this Sunday is ticker, leave everything on the field, gas tanks empty. We should all be proud. G'day, Joby. We'll get Joby on here probably next week, I reckon. We'll have a threesome. My wife always saying they can't hear you. Why are you yelling? Well, she doesn't understand the superstition. Like I'll sit there and go, oh, should I? I've got two types of deodorant. One's for the home game, one's for the away game. And if I use the wrong one, I think it causes us to lose the game. If I've got the wrong jersey on, the wrong undies, so much superstition. And if you don't yell at the TV, that's the factor. You've got to yell at the TV or you got no chance.
Yeah.
And have you ever yelled at the TV and then they've done what you've said and you're going, see, I told you when they listen to me.
Yeah.
They listen to me through the television.
Let's have a talk
about
about
this. Dog barking through the back there. Somebody needs to shut the dog up.
Let's keep with our agenda, mate, and have a look at the Raiders and Sharks, buddy.
Oh, welcome, Mookie, the Broncos supporter. Thanks for joining the channel. Having a laugh. We're going pretty good. Like we're smashing through this agenda quicker than usual. It helps when Brian's not here. What's going to happen in the Raiders and Sharks game? I've got a feeling the Sharks and Bulldogs are going to meet in a grand final. I've just got this feeling.
Wow, it's a big call.
Hopefully, we're right about that.
I like one side of it, but yeah, I mean I think, like I said before, I think that the Raiders and Broncos have played their grand final. That game was a massive game, and Raiders won it twice or three times, and celebrated the win and had to start again, which was so hard to do, obviously. And then the Broncos just never felt like they'd had the game won. They felt like they lost the game that many times, and now they're sitting there, with a week off. So it's, but I mean, I've got to say, I think they got the suspensions the wrong way around. Carrigan hasn't got any history. He hasn't had any priors, and he cops a week, and the other guy does a headbutt, and he's playing. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. That was a bit more for the game. Yeah, and look, Carrigan's a guy that gives Reese the ball a lot, if you know what I mean. So that's going to be – he's the guy that's sort of like that Salmon and Kurt Mann role that gives him the ball out the back there a lot. So that'll hurt him a little bit as well. They'll have to adjust for that. It's not going to be as straightforward, but if we get through to that game, like I said, we've got some unfinished business with the Broncos. After what happened in Brisbane the first game, and then leading 18-0 in the second game. So yeah, the Origin effective game.
Been a bit of a thorn in our side the last few years too.
Yep, and he's gone for the season, right?
Two against us on Josh Reynolds' last game. Josh, he didn't play that game, Josh, but it was his day. Yep, it was say goodbye to Josh Day. Jackson Torpenay unfortunately got picked out about 3 times and conceded points. Was a difference in the scoreline too, but still enjoyed that game. But I'll go back. I'll go back to fucking 1975 if people want me to, when Russell Fairfax was playing for the Roosters. But look, I think that the Sharks have learned a lot about themselves this year. I think when we beat them early in the year, they learned a lot of lessons from that game, and I've been watching them try to play more conservatively. If you watch that 20 minutes after half time against the Roosters, where the Roosters would get sometimes running 70, 80 metres in their set, it sort of reminded me of a couple of games last year where the Dogs would beat the Sharks sort of for the first time in ages with the field goal to Matt Burton. It reminded me of the next game against the Warriors, where we just conceded so many metres, but never looked like having our line broken, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I just felt that they conserved energy where they could, and then they finished strong. And I saw it in the game where we beat them earlier in the year. They came out absolutely all guns blazing. And as soon as they slowed down for one little second, we punished them.
Yeah.
It took about 10 minutes and we put them on the back foot. And they just could not get back into the game after that. Like, everything was hard for them. And I just felt that was a big turning point for them. And the fact that they've sort of got to this time of year with pretty easy draws. And again, another draw that many would say was advantageous compared to most teams. They fell right off the Richter scale. They actually put together quite a lot of wins towards the end of the season. A really good win over the Roosters. And then they had the big win over us where they completed 44 or 46 sets. So for me, they're a side that have got the big pack. They know they have to complete, which means they have to tone it down a little bit. Probably spend less time, doing big shifts and going wide and going back and forth, because it just tanks their big blokes too quickly. I think they're more in tune to play a game where they earn everything. And to me, that's more in tune with their coach, because he was just the hardest working player I've seen, Fitzgibbon. If there was ever a player from the Roosters or Dragons where he started that I would want to go to Canterbury, it would have been him. And we've got his son, which is a good sign. But I think I've just got a feeling the Sharks are going to beat the Raiders this week, but we'll see. The Raiders finished first for a reason. I think it'll be a really good game, but they're going to need every bit of Ricky Stewart pumping up or whatever he does to play 80 against the Sharks, because I think the Sharks have built into this comp nicely, and I would back either of these teams, even with another short turnaround into the Storm. Actually, I think they're swapping that now, actually.
Well, it's already been set.
Is it Friday? It's Friday.
Bulldogs are going to be on the, Bulldogs Broncos, or whoever plays the Broncos on the Sunday, and the other games are Friday. They've left the grand final of the AFL as a gap in the middle. Yeah, which was stupid. The other game, Melbourne or whoever plays Melbourne, get an extra 2 days of rest for the grand final, which is a big advantage.
Big advantage for Melbourne, especially if they win, because they've had
got a week off already.
Yeah, they've had that 2 weeks off. So,
but if you,
I think Sharks or Raiders have got the team to beat Melbourne in Melbourne.
If you look at that,
I think the grand final is going to come out of the next game.
Based on what you're saying there, if you look at the Sharks from when they beat that Roosters back in round 20, since then they've actually played Rabbitohs, Cowboys, Dragons, Titans, Knights before they played the Bulldogs. So that, other than losing to the Dragons, they won every other game, and some of them convincingly 50, 40 points. But they built their confidence in those games. They went through pretty smooth with injuries. And they've come out of that now with confidence, and they're sort of having a good, they're going well. Even against us, obviously we had Cherry go down in the first 5, but we only had 6 all in the second half. I know we scored it, Tuala scored a length of the field, but it was only 6 all in the second half. They really didn't put us away. So that's sort of been their run. And then they sort of did the job on the Roosters again the other day when everyone expected the Roosters to smash them. So they've just had that run where it's given them that confidence, kind of like our start to the year where we won 6 in a row. It just gave us that confidence once we got through, and you just sort of find a way to win. It doesn't matter. You just find a way. And I think that's sort of where they're at the moment, the Sharks. So the Raiders, they'll have to keep believing in what's got them to first this year and try to play that way. But the Sharks equally will have that same confidence that we can do the job on them. So it will be an interesting game. It's two good games this week.
Yep. So Joby reckons Raiders Dogs Grand Final 94 replay. There you go. And that'll be reversed though, because the Raiders we were minor premiers that year, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. That was Paul Osborne, mate.
As well.
That was Paul Osborne.
Terry Lamb got knocked out too.
Martin Bella knock on from the kick. Oh, God, don't remind me. That's after we beat them 19-18 to get to the prelim, to get to the grand final.
I was a bit sad Marty Bella didn't get to win a comp with the Bulldogs. I liked that he come across to us.
Yeah. Pretty smart guy. He's a physio, wasn't he, off memory?
And I think he's an accountant.
No, I think it was I thought he was a physio or he was maybe an accountant. Yeah, I thought he was back in the day. They used to put their jobs across the screen when they used to come out sometimes back in the day, back in the 80s. David Gillespie, garbologist.
So what was he? Marty Muttons to Bella. Born in Serena. Yeah, physiotherapy holds a degree in Serena.
So my memory's not losing me yet. It's all right.
No, it was Paul Dunn who was the accountant, and Jeff Tuvey, and Des Hasler was the school teacher.
Yeah, Paul Dunn's still doing a bit of that. He's at the Coast Golf Club. He's the treasurer there on the board. Paul Dunn.
Oh, is he?
Still goes all right there. Plays out there with a lot of the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, he does a lot of stuff like for charity and that. He does his bike ride and stuff. He often likes stuff on All Things Bulldogs as well, Paul.
Okay.
He was on our board for a while, did a good job.
Yeah.
Very tough time.
Yep.
Timmy says it'd be nostalgia if the Dogs played Canberra in the grand final. Mr. It's Me says he's a plumber. Are you a plumber, Mr. It's Mr. It's Me?
Offering his services.
G'day, Tahi. Kia ora. How are you, bro? Sorry about the Wars on the weekend. But they're very unlucky, the Wars. That forward pass from onto To'o off that fluke kick that Cleary did. And look, where Cleary earned his money was 2 dropouts where they really needed to get possession, and they did. Yeah. Where he did those little grubber drop kicks. I think they were 2 of the most important plays in the match. But yeah, the Warriors looked like they had Penrith covered a lot of the time too. They defended very well. It was sort of against the run of play shit, which got them, and a good pass for the first try from Cleary. Yeah. But
the Warriors did something that for me is the biggest no-no in a game. Got the first penalty early, didn't find touch. It was
Tanner Boyd.
It brought back memories. If you remember, who did it? Andrew Farah. If you remember in the grand final, 86. Yep, that was didn't find touch early, and it just shifted the momentum. That's one of the biggest killers when you don't find touch. That's one thing that kills me. When I saw that with the Warriors, I was screaming the other day. I was like, "Come on, Tanner."
They're gone. Well, Tanner Boyd, like ever since Kickow just demoralised him and Keanu Kinney in the one game, just absolutely demoralised both the kids. He's sort of, he's played reserve grade all year. They were winning the comp all year. He was going great guns. They brought him in against that game against Newcastle, and literally every ice moment he come up short, poor kid. And luckily for that, the Newcastle Knights charging the ball down and Halasima getting a freak bounce and scoring.
Yeah.
That saved Tanner Boyd. And Tanner, to be fair, has been done things a lot better from that point. But yeah, that first kick for touch, he's got head demons, that kid. He's got head demons.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing about Galvin, and touch wood, it does. Galvin hasn't really fucked anything up like under pressure. Like, it doesn't look like these pressures got to him. Someone said, he's under too much pressure because he looked concerned. And I'm like, that's because we're losing. And he wanted to win. He's competitive. He's a winner. He doesn't like losing.
Yeah.
What Blake Austin said about Galvin, though, made a lot of sense too. He's come through Westfield Sports High and in those western suburbs, Parramatta area, edging on with the Bulldogs junior area as well, where, he's been playing behind dominant packs off the front foot, which allows him to sort of just play that heads up and do what he's got to do. And he's dynamic. And at Canterbury, he's not getting that. We're not punching those holes in the defence through the way that we play through the forward. So he's sort of, at the moment, he's basically learning how to probably play off the back foot a little bit, which is a good skill to learn. And what annoys me about these fucking commentators and even the ex-footballers is they say, he's just a six. Like, he'll never be able to learn how to pass a ball flat at the line properly, or what absolute bullshit. It's like saying someone who starts as a hooker isn't going to get better at throwing the ball off the ground if they keep doing it all the time.
Yeah.
Practice makes perfect, yeah? So he's getting that. So as we get a Leo Thompson into the team, we build in the minutes into these young guys that have got some size and aggression that are coming through, like the AJ Jones and all these players who are pretty fucking aggressive. Yeah. They're going to create space for this kid to play off the front. And Cleary was that's probably why I think Phil Gould actually said he's one of the best kids he's seen, because he's obviously seen him as a kid playing for the juniors. The scouts would have told him about it. He would have went and watched some games. I'm 100% know it. And if he's built this opinion, the thing that Cleary's always struggled with is playing off the back foot. Like, he still does a satisfactory job, but, where you get a slow play the ball and your forwards can't, hit the advantage line running.
Yep.
Where they're getting met with really strong defense with shoulders and getting driven back, and it's a real grind to get out of your own end set for set. Cleary doesn't create the same way that he does when he's behind that dominant Penrith pack that he's been behind this whole time, and as a junior team where they had the biggest team, the fastest team across the pack, and they were all stars, a whole lot of them. And he just did his job and did it really bloody well. Dylan Edwards was fantastic. Sonny Luke was their best player, and he's still a reserve grader from them. So, Look, I sort of look at that stuff and I go, and people will go, okay, well, why is he in the team now then? Why is he learning in the most crucial part? Because what better time to learn than against the last four premiership winners leading into the finals and playing finals? What better time to see if you can handle pressure and do your job at least. And for me, both Sexton and Galvin pretty much did their jobs in that game last week.
Yeah.
Burton was the man who went after it and tried to carry us on his back, which is what we need and expect from him. And Kickout tried his heart out as well. But Kickout's always got a mistake in him under that sort of pressure as well. Can overplay. But never down on effort. So the point I'm making, the holistic point here is get behind this kid to have a crack. And when we get on the front foot, I expect him to be one that's getting some early ball out or taking those runs. There was 3 big opportunities for him to run against the Melbourne as well, and he didn't do it till the last time, and he almost got through. But there were 2 other times too where I reckon if he goes for it, he either gets a really sort of like when Sexton got the quick play of the ball, which gave Galvin a bit of space to engage the line and get that easy try for Carraz. Like Galvin just does his job perfectly there. Then Tracy throws a beautiful pass. Critter have been doing that for the weeks leading up. It's just 101 for our team. So if Galvin does that a couple of times throughout the game a little bit more, it might set us up for some front foot footy on the next plays. And as we've seen, a player like Nathan Cleary can miss tackles in big games. We saw it against the Broncos. Ezra Mann made him look stupid twice. Obviously, he made up for it with Critta and Moses Leota's help. But, give us an update, Gas. What's happening?
So, Tim's given us a comment there that the reverse bounce off the Cleary kick. It's like the Panthers had the bounce of the ball. Then the comment was Bobby Lindner was the optometrist. So from an old fella Dave, it's not a sellout yet, JB. It's still got some tickets available. But if you notice, tickets. They've put some even $19 tickets up in the bleachers. So they're really trying to get some numbers out there. So I'm expecting it to go very close, well over 70. So it should be okay. And yes, Timmy, Gus's famous line: if you let the ball bounce, you're inviting disappointment into your life. It's your next one there. Yep. Although that did work for us the other day when the ball bounced off Sexton's knee, mate. Meaney just ran straight past him, mate. Didn't even attempt to tackle. Just assumed it was going to be where we were sitting. If you look at the coverage, I had the banner up already. I could see it coming off his knee. We could see it from where we were sitting. We were up. That's a try. That's a try. As he went to put it in, we were up. We were saying that's in. That's off his knee. Sexton played it well. So he let the ball bounce. It was good. $10 tickets, final savers. Yep. Well, there you go. So there's my young fellow.
They got $20 and $10 tickets.
There you go. Thanks, Aki.
Zachy boy.
Good old Aki. He held the fort while I was away for a few weeks with the banner. Thanks, buddy.
Champion.
He's got his sister out there with him doing the job. So, yeah.
So, if the Bulldogs beat Penrith, which we've all got to focus energy on that, who's coming to Brisbane? Because if we're going to Brisbane, we've got to all meet up.
Yep.
And get that family happening.
It's going to be a Sunday game, everyone. So we've got all weekend to get up there. Just take the Monday off, I guess. Or if you're flying up, just get back nice and early. So there's no excuses. But we'll be there.
Oh, fella Dave, if the Dogs play in Brisbane, count me in. I'll see you there too, bro.
Yep. We can get the All Things Bulldogs teams guys out there in front of the stadium for a big team photo. Come on.
Yeah, I might have to create an All Things Bulldogs flag, but I think that's a bit wacky. I think I'd rather just have a Canterbury flag, but
well,
we are the best supporters group.
These are the flags you get when you turn up in the Bulldog Supporters Bay, guys. So if you're coming on Sunday and you're in the supporters bay, they're handing out these are really good flags, these ones. So they've done a really good job with these. Managed to grab a couple on the way out the other day.
I would suggest people get accommodation that you can cancel. Get it now.
Brizzy.
The Brizzy, yeah. Lucas will be there. We'll see you there, Lucas. I'll have to get the rugby league coach to come in and watch the game with us. See what he's got to say. We'll end up belting him.
He was giving you a bit of a hard time today, mate, saying if I keep letting you talk, you've got to go back to 1908. Well, he did say 1904, then he corrected for 1908 off memory. But, yeah.
Well, he just wrote something on his Facebook like, so, that's what I mean. Like, when you're promoting your business and whatever, you're going to take advantage of the media algorithm. Drives me insane. I just need to write Galvin on every YouTube video. It'll make me extra $5 every one I do. But that's just like selling your soul, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think it's been done. I think it's been done to death this year, everyone. Galvin's become that easy word for everyone just to say, like Trump, just you say that and people just look up and say, what's going on? It's just people don't even care whether it's right or wrong. And if you remember, what did Buzz say after the Manly game? Oh, I was wrong. You give us the reenactment. You do it well.
It was wrong. I had coffee with Cameron.
There you go. So, they played a good game against Manly, but that's the kind of game I'm expecting this week. Expecting them to bring their big game and, it didn't go our way last week, but it wasn't from a lack of effort. And I don't expect anything less from effort, guys. And win, lose or draw, all of us, we get behind the team. We've had at least 16 wins. Let's hope it's 19, but win, lose or draw, we're all there supporting. Like you said, mate, none of this I told you so. That's the team that the coaches are putting out there. We all support it. We all back it. We all cheer it. And the only thing is we just hope we've got a few more weeks because then it's going to be a long off season before Vegas.
So if Bulldogs lose this week, it'll be, well, if they played Reed Mahoney, Toby Sexton and Burton at centre, Bray, if they did that every week, they would have been minor premiers, Bray. And if we win, they'll be like, see, I told you, Bray. They just had to put Toby Sexton at number 7, Bray, and that's why they won. Mum and Dad live in Brizzy, so accommodation is sorted. Well, shout out to your mum and dad, Lucas, because it's a good place to live, and it's going to be 30 degrees tomorrow. So we could be warming up by next Sunday for the heat. And I think the heat's going to suit the dogs more. Just my opinion. As it will this weekend, I think.
Yep. We've been bashed around, but we've got that. When the games go for those longer minutes, it always works in our favour. Those stop-start games are the ones that are killing us. So, the other day, as much as there wasn't a lot of penalties, it actually worked in our favour that the game was, playing on. But whenever there was a stoppage, like you saw, it worked against us. It was, when Chan went off, we conceded that try, and just all those little things like that. The longer the game goes, the better for us with our more mobile pack. So it works in our favour. So hoping that Klein can sort of put his whistle away a little bit and give us a chance to play some footy.
Well, I reckon we've covered it pretty well. Was there any final thoughts that you had today, Gas?
No, mate. Everything's been good, mate. I think we all what's today, Tuesday, we all get ourselves ready for the week and start building up to Sunday. But for everyone who can and will be there, we'll see you out there at the game. It's going to be a massive game. It's effectively, this is our grand final now. So, if we win this, we start again the week after. So everyone get out there, treat it like it's the grand final and bring the boys home. I think when the team knows that we're there and they hear us, just like they did in those 2 games this year with the 65,000 and then the 55,000, they lift another leg. And I think that's going to be something that, no matter what happens, I think we're going to have at least a 70-30 percentage split over the Panthers supporters, no matter what happens. Even 80-20 at best. So we're going to drive the show. Like you said, keep it noisy, keep it loud. And that's worth an extra try at least for our team, guys. So let's go. Let's bring them home, and looking forward to having a nice analysis next week on the victory and discussing what we're going to do for Brisbane.
Perfect. Sounds bloody great to me. I'll see if I can get some other content out there for you during the week, something a little bit less serious and more lighthearted. But thanks everyone for joining. It's been a lot more efficient tonight. Got a lot of different points of views across, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. Thanks to everyone who's contributed, all the regulars, Timmy, Joby, old fella Dave, Tahi, Mr. It's Me, Mookie, the Duff 95, Nops, Joe Millennium, Gratitude, D, thank you for doing the stats. Really appreciate those, mate. And go through the chats again and look at those stats, guys, because some of them might hold up. Dogs wingers always score if you're into that stuff. Miss Keane, someone who I've not seen before, welcome to you and thanks for coming on. And goodbye again to Brian, who we kicked off the channel yet again. Scary79, thanks to you, Dave Miller. I just wanted to thank everyone before I went. And Doggies for Life, Zreg, Abraha, and the new guys I had. So I think that's everyone.
And Akram.
And to Zach, welcome to you, buddy. All right, people. Thanks for coming on. I'll see you soon, and go the Dogs.
Thanks, guys. See you later. Have a good week.